Imagine a world where devastating kidney diseases could be tackled head-on with a game-changing therapy. That's the exciting promise Vertex Pharmaceuticals is bringing to light with their latest updates at the American Society of Nephrology Kidney Week. And here's where it gets controversial. Could this lead to faster approvals that bypass traditional timelines, potentially speeding up access to life-saving treatments but raising questions about long-term safety? Stick around as we dive into the details, because this is the part most people miss, the real human impact behind the numbers. Vertex Pharmaceuticals, based in Boston, has shared fresh insights from their ongoing Ruby-3 study, a phase 1 of 2 clinical trial, during the ASN Kidney Week 2025 event in Houston, Texas. This study focuses on povetacicept, often abbreviated as POV, an experimental recombinant fusion protein that acts as a dual inhibitor of BAFF, a molecule that activates B cells, and APRIL, a ligand that promotes cell growth. Essentially, these cytokines are key players in immune responses, and by blocking them, POV aims to control overactive B cells that drive certain autoimmune conditions. For beginners, think of B cells as soldiers in your body's defense system. When they go rogue in diseases like IgA nephropathy, IgN, or primary membranous nephropathy, PMN, they can cause serious harm to the kidneys. POV stands out as the only BAFF+APRIL inhibitor currently in advanced testing for various kidney disorders, marking it as a potential frontrunner. The data comes from a late-breaking oral presentation, labeled SA, or 091, and covers interim results from the open-label Ruby-3 trial. Participants, all adults with IgN or PMN, received POV via subcutaneous injection every 4 weeks. The analysis zeroed in on 21 individuals with IgN and 10 with PMN who were on the 80 mg dose, with 17 from the IgN group and 5 from the PMN group completing the full 48-week check-in. Let's break down the results for IgN first. At 48 weeks, the 80 mg dose group saw a remarkable 64% drop from their starting levels in proteinuria. That's the excessive protein leaking into urine, which is a telltale sign of kidney damage. To put it simply, healthy kidneys filter waste without letting proteins escape, but in IgN, this filtration system is compromised, leading to symptoms like swelling and fatigue. Additionally, estimated glomerular filtration rate, eGFR, a measure of how well the kidneys clean blood, think of it as the kidney's efficiency score, remains stable with only a slight change of 3.3 plus or minus 3.1 ml/min/1.73 m superscript 2 from baseline. Impressively, 90% of participants, 9 out of 10, resolved hematuria, which means blood in the urine dropped to none or barely detectable levels for those who started with moderate or high amounts. And 53% hit clinical remission, defined by a urine protein-to-creatinine ratio, UPCR, under 0.5 g/g, no hematuria, and less than 25% decline in eGFR. Shifting to primary membranous nephropathy, PMN, the outcomes were equally compelling. At 48 weeks, the 80 mg cohort experienced an astounding 82% reduction in proteinuria from baseline, alongside eGFR stability, a change of -0.3 plus or minus 3.4 ml/min/1.73 m superscript 2. Furthermore, 40% of participants reached complete clinical remission, again based on UPCR below 0.5 g/g. For context, PMN is a rarer autoimmune kidney condition where the immune system mistakenly attacks the kidney's filtering units, often triggered by antibodies against proteins like PLA2R. Without targeted treatments, it can lead to severe scarring and failure. Throughout the trial, POV proved generally safe and tolerable, with side effects mostly mild or moderate and no serious ones linked directly to the drug. This safety profile held consistent across both IgN and PMN groups and aligned with earlier analyses, which is reassuring for potential patients wary of new therapies. Dr. James Tumlin, the principal investigator for Ruby-3 and a professor at Emory University School of Medicine, summed it up eloquently. These striking results highlight the promise of targeting BAFF and APRIL to revolutionize care for severe kidney conditions like IgN and PMN, which are areas crying out for better options. He pointed out that in IgN, 2/3 of treated participants achieved a strong response with UPCR under 0.5 g/g by 48 weeks, aligning with the latest KDIGO guidelines. These are international standards for kidney disease management that emphasize controlling proteinuria early to prevent progression. Echoing this enthusiasm, Dr. Richard Lafayette, a member of the Rainier Steering Committee and professor at Stanford University Medical Center, noted, "The rapid enrollment in the Phase 3 Rainier trial shows just how desperately patients with IgN and PMN need effective, disease-specific interventions." He stressed that these conditions require treatments that tackle the root causes of nephron loss. Nephrons are the tiny structures in kidneys responsible for filtering, to offer lasting control. POVE's RUBY-3 data across 2 major kidney diseases underscore the value of a combined BAFF and APRIL strategy, and we're eagerly anticipating the Phase 3 results. Looking ahead, Vertex is pushing forward with regulatory milestones. They've recently earned Breakthrough Therapy designation from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, for POVE and IgN, a status that fast-tracks drugs showing major improvements over current options. The company plans to begin a rolling submission of the Biologics License Application, BLA, this year, aiming for accelerated approval in the U.S. On top of that, they're using a priority review voucher to shorten the FDA's review from 10 months to just 6 months. The Phase 3 Rainier trial, a global study comparing POVE 80 mg, plus standard care, against placebo in about 480 IgN patients, has now hit full enrollment. For PMN, POVE has secured Fast Track designation, a program to speed up development for drugs addressing serious conditions with unmet needs. Recruitment is underway for the pivotal Phase 2 of 3 Olympus trial, which involves around 176 participants and will select the best dose before a larger phase comparing it to a calcineurin inhibitor, a type of immunosuppressant. This makes PMN the second disease where POVE shows top-tier potential. But here's where it gets controversial. Accelerating approvals like this could mean quicker access for patients suffering now, but does it risk overlooking rare side effects that only emerge with longer use? And this is the part most people miss. While the data looks promising, critics might argue that these early wins don't guarantee long-term benefits, especially since no therapies currently target the core drivers of IgN or PMN. Vertex is betting big on POVE's unique design, which includes an engineered TOSI domain for stronger binding and better tissue reach compared to other inhibitors in lab studies. Combined with easy dosing, once a month subcutaneously, it positions POVE as a potential leader in autoimmune diseases fueled by rogue B cells. To explore these findings further, Vertex is hosting an investor event on November 8, 2025, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in Houston. Attendees can join a live webcast via the company's investor site at investors.vertx.com, including Q&A. An archived version will be available afterward. For more on Vertex's ASN Kidney Week activities, check out news.vertx.com/asn-kidney-week. Diving deeper into Povetacicept, it's designed to curb BAFF and APRIL, which normally help B cells survive and multiply, potentially worsening autoimmune attacks. Its enhanced potency from preclinical tests, along with real-world clinical feedback, suggests it could excel in serious conditions like these. Remember, POVE remains experimental and awaits global approvals. IgA nephropathy affects roughly 300,000 people in the US and Europe, making it the top cause of primary glomerulonephritis, a group of diseases damaging the kidney's filtering glomeruli. In Japan, about 33,000 are diagnosed, and in China, around 750,000. It stems from immune complexes, including faulty IgA antibodies called Gd-IgA1, building up in the kidneys, sparking injury and scarring. Without specific treatments addressing the cause, up to 72% of adults may face end-stage renal disease within 20 years. Primary membranous nephropathy, meanwhile, is a rarer autoimmune disorder impacting about 150,000 in the US and Europe, driven by autoantibodies against kidney components like PLA2R, leading to damage and potential failure. No targeted drugs exist yet. Fast Track designation, granted by the FDA, aims to expedite promising drugs for urgent